Hello, my name is Carl, and I'm doing a report on the heterozygote advantage. Let's define some terms quick. DNA is the material that carries genetic information in nearly all organisms. A gene is the unit of heredity passed from parent to offspring. These provide the instructions for making proteins which carry out basically all cellular functions. A couple more things about genes. A dominant gene means only one copy of the gene is needed to see the effects. A recessive gene means two copies of the gene are needed, but there might be some beneficial effects of being heterozygous. But what's a heterozygote, you ask? Having two different copies of the same gene makes you a heterozygote for that gene. This is also called being a carrier when talking about a disease. Having two identical copies of a gene makes you homozygous. You've probably heard of cystic fibrosis. The CFTR gene provides instructions for a protein that lets chloride ions into and out of cells. One altered or mutated copy of the CFTR gene is fine, but having two of them causes cystic fibrosis. Cystic fibrosis leads to a buildup of mucus in the lungs, obstruction of pancreatic function, and some other side effects. Because many recessive diseases like cystic fibrosis kill the offspring before they can reproduce, the mutated genes are usually very rare. So why do you hear about cystic fibrosis so much in the news? Why do some places have such commonly mutated CFTR genes? 1 in 20 people in Ireland, for example, are carriers of a mutated CFTR gene. The answer? The heterozygote advantage. In cystic fibrosis, as it turns out, being a carrier of the CFTR mutation lessens the effects of deadly infectious diseases like typhoid fever and cholera. Those diseases might not seem like a big deal now, but they were a real concern for medieval Europeans who had no access to decent medical care. So how does this work? Normally, people with typhoid fever or cholera can die from ionic imbalances or dehydration caused by diarrhea. Carriers of the CFTR mutation have a reduced number of those ion channels and are thus less affected by the disease. Because the carriers are less likely to die, they are more likely to pass on the CFTR mutation to their kids. To summarize, having cystic fibrosis, meaning you're homozygous with a CFTR mutation, is bad. Dying from cholera, because you're homozygous with no CFTR mutation, also bad. Being a carrier and heterozygous with a mutation, good. Now for a quick history lesson. The discovery of the heterozygote advantage is credited to Dr. Hans Kalmus in 1945, who observed that fruit flies heterozygous for a mutation in a gene called ebony were more successful than non-mutants in low temperatures. However, flies homozygous for the mutation were lighter at birth and died sooner than their non-mutated or heterozygous counterparts. Thus, Kalmus discovered that there was an advantage to being heterozygous for an otherwise harmful recessive mutation. We're still discovering new ways that the heterozygote advantage affects us today. Just since 2013, we found evidence of this phenomenon in Crohn's disease, immune function, and heart defects. Further research may involve using knowledge of heterozygote advantage when examining deep evolutionary relationships or integrating knowledge of this effect into personalized medicine and gene therapies. Thanks for watching, and for more information, check out the links below.
Created using Powtoon.